Sull'eco del concerto che insieme ci trovò, ripeterò ancora la strada che mi porta a te. Ovunque sei, ovunque sei, dove sarai mi rivedrai vicino a te.
Shut that thing off. Whatever the fuck that was.
That's just my watch, bro.
Can't have fucking watches in this conversation.
What?
This
But I wear...
You wear a watch?
Yeah, it's my...
What is this, fucking 2006?
Can I show you it?
No. Okay, for the people listening to this, he's wearing a fucking stupid watch. And you're just showing it to me. It's retarded. It's green. I get it.
No, it's not. It's fucking gold.
It has a green screen.
Yeah, but it's gold.
All right, it's Brandy and Duster. And
Duster!
We're back in here. This is not technically Film Fatigue, but it's an offshoot. Dustin's been on Film Fatigue, and we have done several podcasts in the past. We did Life of Pablo. We did some other shit. But we're here now to talk about Season 2 of Master of None. We were already...
You're the mother of my second child. What the fuck are you talking? We're so close. You have no idea.
Yeah, we're Bergs of the highest order.
We're not here to talk about Master of None, Brandon. We're here to talk about the fucking 6-year anniversary of The Sitter, starring Jonah Hill.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great comedy. I saw it the first time I babysat. The day it came out, it was a great history lesson on telling me, hey, this is how you not babysit, bro. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to talk about this either. But
Did you fuck those kids, bro?
I didn't fuck the kids I babysat for. How was I going to fuck 3 kids in one night?
You could have fucked them all.
Dude, why are you talking about pedophilia?
Just for anyone listening to this, we already recorded the first 5 minutes of the podcast again, and Dustin was telling me that we are going to have to talk about The Sitter again because that's how we opened it before. So we just literally redid all the bits of the first intro, including Dustin fucking kids. I didn't include the part that he fucked a 12-year-old, but...
You're an asshole. I didn't do any of that. Why are you trying to paint a terrible picture of me, bro?
I've heard reports
about Master of None. Master of None, I'm a huge fan of it. I love Aziz Ansari. I've been a huge fan of him since 2009, ever since the Randy days.
Yeah.
And Observe and Report. And, like, what do you mean I blow up Chick-fil-A? I fucking love Chick-fil-A. It's fucking delicious. Like I've loved all that shit from Aziz Ansari. He's still, like, one of my top 5 favorite comedians of all time. And, dude... Master of None, Season 1 was so great, and Season 2, it's even fucking better, bro!
Yeah. What? So, I just finished watching Season 2 all the way through in one sitting. This show had so much to live up to because the first season was so great. You know, it had an incredible central relationship that was developed between Aziz Ansari's character and Noel Wells' character. Absolutely hilarious, had really clever ideas for how to tell these individual little stories that are still overall tied into the main show. This season just took it further in every direction. There was more crazy ideas. Like, there's an entire episode where the main characters of the show are featured in it for less than 30 seconds. It's nuts, and it's even funnier than the first season. This is, as of right now, I just recently rewatched season 3 through 5 of Breaking Bad, and I would have said before that season 5 of Breaking Bad was probably my favorite season of TV, just isolated as a season. And this is in competition with that, if not surpassing it. Like, this, I was glued to this show. We were just talking about how could you just watch an episode of this show and not continue it?
Yeah, man. I was watching it. I live on the East Coast, and like Netflix, when they drop new shit, it comes online at 3 a.m. and I have insomnia, so that's no problem for me. So I watched the whole thing like in the morning, and it was I was there was so many times where I was like I finished an episode, I was like, am I gonna go to sleep? No, I'm not gonna go to sleep because it's fucking Aziz Ansari, and it's the best. It's great. It's just amazing. And oh my god, it's just like it's one of the. It got better technically. Like the direction got better, the editing got better, the soundtrack. They got a bigger budget for the soundtrack.
The cinematography in this season was insane,
right?
And it just kept getting better. Like near the end of the season, some of the scenes, I was blown away by.
The guest stars too. The guest stars got even better.
Oh my god. Okay, let's freak out a little bit before we delve into this because I'm just still in shock at how good this was. I couldn't have imagined a better follow-up to the first season. And what's so crazy about it is one of the strongest aspects of the first season, like I mentioned, was this relationship that was developed between Aziz and Noelle Wells' character. Her name was Rachel. And you just really began to care about seeing them together, and they had an incredible chemistry. And of course that season ended, full spoilers obviously for everything in this show. You need to catch the fuck up on it if you haven't. Watch it all in one sitting because that's what you're gonna end up doing anyway.
Yeah, I went through this show like teenage girls went through 13 Reasons Why, and
or like you went through fucking all those kids you were babysitting. Am I right?
No, I was not. Stop that. All right. Okay, that's way over the line.
He's lying.
13 Reasons Why. I watched that show too. It was good. But dude,
all right.
Master of None. You forgot to mention like Aziz. If it wasn't for Aziz, bro.
He wrote and it's Aziz Ansari and Alan Yang who write and direct every single episode of this.
Yes.
Well, they don't direct every single episode, but they write every single episode.
Yeah, and his brother too, his younger brother writes. Yeah. Aziz's younger brother. But like, if it wasn't for Aziz, we wouldn't have the monikers Brandy and Duster.
Brandy, and then just. It's so natural that Brandy comes off of that. It's natural that Dustyrrrrrrrs comes off of that.
Yeah.
It's all natural. It's all natural. Just like how Dustin fucked those kids, just raw.
Dude, I didn't, bro. Stop making me be like Chef Jeff.
That's what I was trying to get to, but
we can't just jump right into just Chef Jeff right now. Right?
He's a pervert.
All right. All right. By the way, spoilers.
Spoilers, Berg.
Spoilers, Berg. Why?
I don't know. Okay. No, so what I was saying about that, though, is it's crazy that they put so much into developing that central relationship. Yes. And then this season, because, they end the first season where she breaks up with him, she's going to move to Tokyo to discover herself. And he's going to go to Italy to discover himself. And it kind of ends on that note. He's talking to the lady on the plane. This season, we kick right off in Italy. But the trajectory that this show is on is not, okay, how do we get back to this relationship we were setting up? They totally naturally follow through with the storyline of Aziz Ansari's character discovering himself. And it's not in a cheesy way. It's not like he goes to Italy and it's like all these dumb little things that they try to do. No, they genuinely care about moving the story forward in a way that is natural. Like, we were talking about, this entire season feels so real. Like, all the things that people talk about, all the things that he decides to do, they all just feel real. And even the plot elements that come in, they don't feel ridiculous, or they don't feel like something that, is put in the show to bring them back to the relationship or whatever. Like, it's all a new thing. You could honestly watch season 2 of this show and just see like a recap of the first season. Not that I would recommend doing that, because the first season is fucking great. But you could
no. Watch the first season first.
I'm not recommending it. I'm saying from the perspective of talking about this season, it really does feel like a new thing.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I was just kind of blown away by the fact that even referencing the last relationship, the last season, there's very little of it. Even when, what's Eric Warheim's character's name again? Arnold?
Yes.
Even when Arnold comes to visit Aziz Ansari in Italy for the first time, they don't play show recap when he gets there to talk about his problems.
No, there's plenty of like little callbacks throughout like almost each episode from like the last season though. There's little Easter eggs that they call back to, if you notice.
Easter eggs, but not like, oh, okay, I get what you're doing. You're trying to set up this narrative, and it all feels supernatural. Yeah. That's my main point.
Genuine. No. It's organic how they do it, and it's not in your face. That's what I like about it. If they did it the other way, it wouldn't have worked at all. But yeah, it's like Aziz is like a little Indian Woody Allen over here. Yeah,
I'm just having a hard. Okay, let's just jump into the first episode and go forward because I'm having a hard time talking about the show overall because I'm still high on this season and I'm freaking out about it. So let's jump into the first episode, this black and white bicycle thieves homage sort of episode. But I was talking to you before we started recording. Bicycle Thieves is a movie that I love. I have the movie. I've seen it a bunch of times, and the little references they do to that movie in this, they're clever, and it just more so feels like a framing for the episode. It's not annoying. They're not like cringy references that you're like, all right, I get it. You don't need to have seen that movie at all to give a shit about, the stylistic choices they make here. Because even without the homage element, it just looks beautiful. Like right when the show starts, there's a step up, and the first season was really well shot and directed as well. But as soon as this season starts, it's on another level, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I love the idea of like the callback of the Italian films and shit. I haven't watched any. The only one I watched was fucking Life is Beautiful. Fuck Roberto Benigni. I hate that guy. Anyway,
you don't like Pinocchio, bro?
No. Fuck you. No, that's terrible, that movie. Anyway, I love the first episode of this because he especially because most of the episode revolves around him trying to find his phone with this little kid, and the little kid was cracking me up this whole time because he was just he's so it's like such like a theatrical performance this little kid's giving. Like he's just like, oh no, your Italian is so terrible, it's just so bad, why are you so and then almost every reply that he has to Aziz is just like, I'm a kid, I don't do this, I don't go on vacation,
that was great, that recurring
I don't go out to drink, like
I don't have vacations,
right? I'm a little kid.
I love that bit where he's, he wants to call his phone to find it, and then the kid's like, I'm a kid, I don't have a phone. He's like, why can't you be like American kids? They're spoiled.
Yeah, right?
I
was just going to say that. That was fucking great.
That start of the episode, just to get you right back into the flow of the comedy, was perfect too, with this fucking alarm clock that goes off, and then he just throws it out the window because it won't shut up. It just got me right back into it, because the alarm clock, throws it out the window because he's fucking with the bed sheets and it flies out the window, and he's just like, fuck!
Yeah, he's like, my Italian's not very good, but I'm sorry.
How do you say my alarm clock is fucked? That was perfect. It was perfect.
And the guy's like, fuck you.
And what's really neat is, they establish the girlfriend Cheska, who is kind of the love interest of this season, in the first episode right away, because she's was she the daughter of the grandma who's running the pasta place?
Yes.
Yeah. So it all starts up in just a very nice, easy way. Yeah, his thing with the kid is great. You basically just get to see him in his element of what he was going for at the end of the last season. I'm going to go to Italy. I'm going to make pasta. And that's what he's doing. And he's having a good time. He has some Italian friends. There's her husband, or not her husband yet, her boyfriend, fucking Pino, asshole.
Pino Grigio.
Yeah. Wine. All right. Some other guy.
Italian. All right, that's the one mildly racist thing Aziz did at the show. Whoever wrote that character, it's like, oh, what are we gonna call the boyfriend? Oh, Pino, I like wine. Okay, all right.
They probably were like, you know what? He's an asshole. We'll call him Pino. Why not?
He was. It's not like he really was an asshole either.
He's not an asshole in the way of like he was a dick. He was an asshole in terms of like he's just an asshole. He's obsessed with fucking tiles.
That's his love. That's his living.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. He should die for that.
I don't know if he should die. Jesus,
He
maybe
should
not
be
be with the
fucking
girl,
killed.
but like maybe don't wish him death. I don't know.
I think he should be killed.
Jesus,
That's
Who
another.
was-
That's
I
another
recognize that actor too. Like, who was that actor?
Same. I couldn't figure that out.
Like I know it wasn't him, but he looked like the guy from ER, like Goran
No.
Vishnevsky.
He's been a side character, like a low level side character in a few movies. I feel.
Yeah,
like.
I've seen that guy before. It's like it bugs me whenever.
Recognizable face.
Yeah, whenever I see a recognizable face and I can't pinpoint it, like no, but yeah, he was. I liked him a lot, like as that character. But like, I liked Francesca, and yeah, it was just a good episode. It really set the tone well for the season. For one thing, I gotta say first to preface it, it's a lot more Curb Your Enthusiasm and Seinfeld kind of this season. Like I got that vibe from it, like in a good way, not in a copycat way. Like it still has its own style. It has its own Master of None tone. It has its own style.
There is a similar situational comedy that happens where, you know, something ridiculous happens and you're kind of watching the fallout of it.
Yes.
But yeah, it definitely has its own unique tone. The only thing that they really do to carry over the Rachel relationship from the first season is in the first episode she texts him on his birthday and he's going back and forth about whether or not to reply to her. That's really all they do. And then there's a little bit more of that in the second episode, but from there until like episode 10 till the end of the show, it's really a non-factor. It's really not that much of a part of the show.
And I'm glad. But
yeah, it's really it's really interesting because conventional logic of writing a TV show would not lead you down that path. Because you had a good thing that you set up, and it had a really interesting cliffhanger ending. So the natural thing to do would be like, all right, let's pick that up. But they didn't do that. That's what I was really trying to get at the beginning of us recording this, was that I just thought it was a really great idea. And I honestly wasn't expecting them to fully do that. I kind of thought it would be more directly tied, but I really like the new directions that it went in.
It went in a whole different style. Like it found its tone that it wanted to find from the first season, where it was kind of a little over the place, where it was just like, oh, we're gonna have a little silliness here and like really dramatic moments here, and it still felt real, but it didn't feel completely full of realness yet.
Well, it didn't feel fully fleshed out because even though it was great, I can't talk that up enough. It sounds like we're saying, you know, they improved on things that they didn't have right in the first season. The only reason that we're talking about it through that lens is because it's just ridiculous how great this season is.
Yeah.
And how the level that they took this to. Because the thing that I think maybe was just slightly off in the first season, and again, I still feel bad saying that, but you had a lot of the comedy, and then it would be followed by these really dark moments or endings of episodes that were really dour.
It ended perfectly with the finale. First of all, this is the whole feel I got from this season. Okay, just notice how the last song for the cut the credits of the finale of the first season, where it's just like I'll tell you what. And it's just like
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it was just like I love that cut the credits, and then the first song we hear in the first episode of this is just church bells. It's like ding ding, and then it's just that whole mellow. It's just a way more mellow feel. And you know what's
the first shot of the season was the bell tower, right?
Yeah, it's like I got a whole more mellow vibe from Aziz this whole season because it's not like he even smoked weed in the first season at all, and now out of nowhere he's just smoking weed in this season. It's weird, but okay.
They smoked a couple times.
In the first season?
Yeah, his
When?
little pen, right? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I don't remember the pen in the first season. I just remember in this season. But whatever. No, not really
He's
important.
smirking there.
Yeah, right. It's just a way more mellow vibe because that's where the character's coming from. He's not really completely full of life anymore. He's still optimistic, but but that's sort of his personality telling him to be optimistic because he still has a lot of potential to be successful. He has a lot of personality, and he's going to be the host of a new Cupcake Wars spin-off show.
No, the Clash of the Cupcakes.
Yeah, Clash of the Cupcakes. It's fucking hysterical.
Fucking Sam Worthington shows up and he's like, "Yeah, it's Clash of the Titans 3," and they're like, "No, it's not."
No, Sam Worthington does not show up. Okay,
he's in this, bro.
No, he's not. Fuck off.
Anyone who's listening to this knows he's in this show.
Shut the fuck up. He's not in the show. All right, Sam Worthington is not an avatar. He's not.
What do you mean he's not an avatar?
He's not an avatar in real life. Just shut up.
What?
Yeah, shut up.
In real life, Avatar's not real. You fuck.
Well, you're just gonna. Oh, whatever. Okay. Sam Worthington's not in this show. All right. No, it's just perfect that Aziz Ansari in this show is like he's cast as a fucking game as a game show host. It's perfect. Like
it's so great. It's like fucking Tom Haverford in Parks and Rec. It's like that character. If they just started recording cameras and they're like, host your game show, it's that. Like, that's what he's doing.
That's the thing. Like, I was worried initially about Master of None to begin with before it even started. Because as much as I love him on Parks and Recreation, there was moments on that show where I was just like, wow, are they going to just keep making him like a complete loser, irresponsible? Until like the last episode where they're just like, where they give everyone a happy ending. And it's like, okay. But it's still a great show. But come on. Parks and Rec's a little too out there sometimes for me to call it better than
I mean, even in his goofy moments in Master of None, there's never a point where this character there's never a point where he's a cartoon. There's never a point where even when he's doing the same type of shit, when he has his things that he says in the Aziz Ansari way where he's like, no, it's never it's never goofy in that way.
It's always real. It's like, that's really how Aziz is.
Yeah.
Like,
and you could see it as like, you know, being the perspective of the girl in the relationship, they wouldn't be like, wow, this guy's fucking weird. Like, he's a real guy.
No, he's like he's a really nice, genuinely good person. But like, and I get that from the show, but if he was just going to be the Tom Haverford character we already knew, then there wouldn't have been a point to it. And that's why I love the show a lot, is that it's like he's really trying to do something different. He's not trying to play like a stereotype that he's used to being cast as, you know?
Yeah.
Because he went from, like, he could have been like that guy, that Indian actor who does an accent in every movie, but no, instead he got typecast as another kind of Indian that just talks all the time. He's a smart ass and he's very like keen to hip hop and R&B and all those stereotypes. No, but Aziz is kind of sick of that sort of thing, and he wants to play like the realest version of himself possible. And like, I hate it when people say, "Oh, well, when people play themselves, it's not that difficult." Well, actually. Yeah, it is.
It is difficult, especially from the perspective of, I mean, in this show, in Master of None, I really, a lot of times, do feel like I'm watching him just in the show.
Yes.
Like, he's just a person in front of you, just going through life and going through experiences. And that's what I think leads to the most relatable characters in movies and in TV shows. It's not necessarily like, oh, this guy is going through exactly the same thing. I can relate to this exact same situation. It's they're tapping into something that's real, and you can connect. You can relate to certain points, but you really just connect to the experience that character is having. And I think he does a great job of that in the show. Whether he's just being a vessel for, you know, some kind of joke or some kind of situation they want to do in the show, or they're going into, you know, some deeper emotional territories, which they definitely do. I think it all works so well, and he's he really is incredible on the show. And the fact that he, you know, like Louis C.K. with Louis, the fact that he is writing and directing and starring and producing and doing all this stuff for the show is nuts.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. But the thing that's great, that's even better about Master of None, is that it's just it's an almost pitch perfect show. Like, it's just an almost absolutely pitch perfect show.
You watch it, and every second of it, you're like, wow, they just did that scene perfectly. They just did that conversational exchange perfectly.
Yeah, it's just the main thing that makes this show even better is that he doesn't forget his character actor roots. It's just like the roles that we remember Aziz starting out in when he first came onto the scene. He was fucking brilliant in them. Like the little 2-minute, 3-minute roles that he had in movies like Funny People and Observe and Report, The Rocker, all those little comedies, and he still gives plenty of people on this show a time to completely shine. Like you said, the episode where it's not even focused on any of the characters we even fucking know, and he still gets great performances out of those fucking great people. And even episodes where they're not even like, he's not even like the forefront of the story. Like episode 2, going back to episode 2, a lot of it focuses on Arnold, played by Eric Wareheim.
Well, yeah, because it's not just that it's him doing all these things, and that's what makes it great. It's that the element of him, it doesn't just come through with the character of Dev. It comes through with the structure and of the entire show. And he, like you're saying, he totally lets people do their thing, and he gives characters an entire episode to explore things in them, and it's all in the writing and in the directing. We can move on to episode 2 because that's a good segue. Because, you know, Arnold, in the first season, hilarious, absolutely hysterical, but just kind of a goofy character, and his goofy best friend who's tall and he's small, and that's kind of, you know, the idea. But this episode, he goes to Italy, where Dev is, and he's going there for a friend's wedding who happens to be his ex-girlfriend, and so they really go into his character and his perspective on relationships by having him freaking out about this girl who's getting married now because he dated her for 10 years in the past. And it's not only is it, you know, really clever and has some neat dramatic elements in there, it's absolutely hysterical. That entire plot of them going to the wedding, everything from them getting to the wedding to everything that happens there was perfect.
Especially when he finds out that the guy she's marrying looks like exactly like him, but like shorter.
Yeah, he's his doppelganger, which is what does he say? He's like, yeah, that's German for someone who looks like you.
Yeah, right. No, his speech at the end too was great.
Yeah. Well, just we can't not mention them getting there, because that was the first scene of this season that just destroyed me, was when they're getting to the wedding in his rental Fiat or whatever, and they have to make it through a fucking alleyway. What I loved about that was not just them getting stuck in the wall and him getting stuck in the car trying to get out.
What about when the truck goes through the thing?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That was my favorite part.
How the fuck did that get through there?
That was hilarious that it just rolled right through it.
That whole scene was very Curb Your Enthusiasm to me.
Totally. Yeah. Like, you can almost you almost see when he gets stuck in the door and he's trying to get out and he's like, what the fuck, this is my worst nightmare. You can just like subtly in the background here, bum 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 da 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 da, right.
Right?
It was just
plenty of moments on this show, which we'll get to. It's Raven Live. It's Raven Live.
Yeah, and then so they when they get to the wedding, you know, he's telling Aziz Ansari that he's gonna freak out when he sees this girl. So to calm him down, he's giving him fucking little bits of melon. What was his line when he got meloned up? He's like, I've had plenty of melon, I'm chill. It was the best.
Yeah. Or what about when he finally goes up to his ex-girlfriend, and then Aziz Ansari's just like, you were doing so well.
Oh, when he sees the guy or whatever, and he's like, "Hold me back," and then Aziz is like, "You're way bigger than me."
Yeah, I can't hold you back.
That whole situation was great. And they also develop in that episode, beyond them talking about his past with this girl, this whole little subplot about how now Arnold is like super into internet dating, which kind of sets up the path that Aziz goes on later. He's super into internet dating, and he's in all these different dating apps. My favorite one was Tall Boys. He has a specific app for tall people, the girls who want to fuck tall people. And his whole bit in this episode with that is that he has all these girls that he's fucking or hooking up with or whatever. And he sends little emojis and little pics of him, like little animated GIFs of him fucking eating Italian food and shit. All of that was great. Like, I was just laughing from start to finish in this episode.
Hi, cutie.
Yeah, hi, cutie. Send him a little hi, cutie. I love that because I just imagine, like, the situation of him just being, like, an internet dating stud, and I can, like, almost see it. Because he's just so fucking, like, adorable and hilarious.
What did you think about episode 3 with the pork?
That was one of my favorites. Episode 3, which was called Religion. The central premise of it is, a family episode, which was some of the best stuff in the first season of Master of None.
Parents was one of the best episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is another one of those episodes where Dev is kind of dealing with the fact that he's not really a religious guy, but his parents, of course, are. So it's his cousin, right, that he's hanging out with in this episode?
Yes.
Yeah, his cousin that he's hanging out with who, he thinks is totally on the Muslim path. He's praying, he's not eating pork and everything, and he hangs out with him for a bit, realizes he's drinking, he likes pork, so they kind of have a little bit of a thing where they're kind of discussing their religious affiliations. But it really, the best part of it is, of course, it's great to have his parents back. And his fucking dad.
No, don't say his parents. His dad is the best.
Yeah. It's kind of nuts that that's his actual dad.
Yeah, right? He's hysterical.
He's so funny. And I wonder, thinking back on the first season, because he was hysterical in the first season too, how much of the way he carried himself was something that Aziz came up with for the show, and how much of it was something that he kind of worked out. His whole, like, saying, "What's up, man? What's up?" The way he fucking talks is so funny.
Right?
It's great to have him back. But, the big thing in this episode was he finally tells him and his mom that, he's not really religious. He eats pork. He doesn't really affiliate with the Muslim religion, really. I thought the way they handled that whole dynamic was great. The ending was super sweet when he has the back and forth with his mom, and then he kind of, does the slight concession just for his family, and then they kind of go back and forth showing, his mom and his dad and their kind of world with their friends and Islam, and then his world with his friends, and how it's kind of a similar dynamic that they have, but they've just found this peace in different areas of life.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful moments in this season that I thought were, just kind of universal.
My favorite scene was when his dad was telling him the reason why his mother was really upset.
Oh, yeah.
That was my favorite scene.
Yeah. When he shows... Well, it's great, too, because he shows up at Aziz's apartment. And I love that carryover from the first season where he's just always giving him technical issues that he has that he wants him to fix.
His dad really is a good actor, though. Like, his dad has good range. Like, he's really natural. Like, I can't believe how good his dad is. Like, his mom is all right, but, like, his dad is great. Like, I don't know why. Like,
yeah, they really utilized him this season.
Because the mother, like, she doesn't. It's not even like she really wants to be there anyway. Like, or he's even said it, Aziz. But like she's just there because the dad's there and she wants to do it for the son. And she's a good sport for it. But like the way she delivers her lines isn't even comparable to the way her husband compared. Like it's like he's having the time of his life.
Yeah, it's so contagious. You see him in the show and you're like, this guy is having the best time.
Yes,
in the world.
Yes, and it's great. And it's like I want more of him, like almost every episode. Like it's great.
Yeah. I really liked that scene because that kind of sets up the mending. Because the thing with his mom is that she's really mad at him and she's not talking to him because he said that he doesn't. He's not really religious and he can eat pork if he wants or whatever. And then that's what sets up his dad coming over to talk to him. But yeah, I thought that episode was really clever. I liked the whole bit with him and his cousin. I just really like the angle they take on religion in that episode.
But it's not like in your face. That's what I love about Aziz is like he takes this, even in his stand-up, he takes a subject and he pokes you with it, but he doesn't like make it explode. Like that's the thing. Like he doesn't explode it in your face. He just ruptures it a little bit. Yeah. I love it. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
I also like the scene where they're at the dinner table after they've gone to the barbecue festival or whatever.
Yeah. And I guess he's on some sort of like a pork high, where he's just like confident enough to just drop the "Hey, I'm not Muslim" bomb on his family. So bomb.
I liked his cousins
right.
kept hinting at the fact that they didn't really go, like, subtly, and Aziz's face when he was making little hints about it.
I love how the cousin thought he was such a badass.
Yeah.
And, like, whenever he would look at Aziz's face would be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's like,
stop it.
What are you so excited about?
Oh, you're so badass. You're eating pork. It just seems like an Aziz bit start happening. Oh, you're so badass. I can just imagine Aziz saying this, like, oh, you think you're so badass eating pork. Great.
That was fucking... Like,
someone called Stone Cold Steve Austin. Ooh.
He was giving him some Harris looks.
Yo, right? Why isn't Harris or fucking Darwish in this at all? Like,
dude,
fucking...
if Harris isn't a character in season 3, if it ever happens, that's fucked up.
Yo, right? Why hasn't Harris already been, like, not... Oh, my... Or his brother. Like, why is it... Like, he mentions that he has a brother in the show, but, like... Why isn't he around? Like, what is he doing?
Hey, that's some stuff left for them to explore.
No, the thing that sucks, too, and I wanted to say this later, but it's just breaking my heart, is that he doesn't even know... Like, he's pulling literally a Louis with this. Like, he doesn't know whether or not there's going to be a season 3. He doesn't know if he wants to do a season 3.
Yeah, I hope it's
like,
more...
What the fuck? Like, why is everyone doing this? Fucking Donald Glover is doing this with Atlanta? It's like, what? Why? It's like...
Yeah. Hopefully he's doing it... Hopefully he's not the same as, like, Louis, and he's just saying it because, in more of the Hollywood speak kind of way where he's like, okay, I haven't fully thought about what we would do for a season 3 yet, so that's why I'm saying that.
But
I really fucking hope they do it. Like, come on.
But well, obviously, but like after this perfect season, like near perfect season, like you said, like it's one of the best seasons of television I can think of in quite a while. I don't know if like maybe that's what he was thinking too. Like, oh,
like he finished this and he watched it all back and he was like, fuck.
This is good. Maybe I can't even fucking follow this. Like, Christ. Maybe make a Randy movie instead. Yeah. Like,
maybe
he's writing a script in Japan, so like I have no idea what the hell he's working on.
I think the strategy would be he does another Netflix show that's intentionally fucking terrible, just to make everyone go like, wow, Aziz really fell off, and he's like, all right, I'm back with Master of None, and then it's great, and then we'd be like, all right. He's just worried because he just knows that this is so great. He doesn't know if he can talk.
Aziz really hasn't done anything horrible, I would say, ever. So
just make a fucking Randy show.
I'm trying to think. You were saying you saw Baywatch, by the way, and like you said, Hannibal Buress was actually not funny in it, and I'm starting to think, when has Aziz Ansari ever been in anything and hasn't been funny in it?
It hasn't happened yet.
No, I'm trying to think. Like, even in I Love You Man, like he shows up for like a second in I Love You Man, and I even get a chuckle out of him in that. And that's like his least funniest role. But can I even count that? Like, it's like he's barely in it. But like, oh, whatever, I don't care. All right, it's episode 4. All right, he's the fucking host of a cupcake show.
Clash of the Cupcakes, Berg.
Clash of the Cupcakes, Berg. And this episode, so he wants to use that sort of celebrity to go out on some dates, Berg. And we see some familiar faces, a couple people that we saw from the first season, one in particular from that one episode.
Yeah, who is the girl, the black girl that
she was great.
Who was that? I can't remember her from the first season. I mean, I remembered her face. I couldn't remember what she was. No, you don't remember.
That was the girl who was getting followed home by that crazy guy.
Right. Yeah. And he has the conversation with her about being a woman and walking home alone. Yeah.
I kind of wanted them to get together in that episode, but whatever. I really liked her in this, and I liked the girl from the internship, the Indian girl from the internship.
Was she the one who is like the ramen reviewer? No. You're talking about Priya.
Yeah, that one.
The lawyer woman?
Yeah, not the one who's on Crashing, the ugly Indian girl. No offense, but she's not.
All right, come on. Let's not go that far.
Yeah, come on. She's not pretty. Her voice is so like this. Oh my god! Like, shut up. like, the ramen fucking. Why are you even doing that? Because of
Dev still wanted to fuck her.
Right? He wanted to fuck anybody at that point in this episode. No, but anyway, I love my favorite part of that episode. Now that I'm thinking of it, is when he's talking to her and that girl, and he's just like, "Why are you even on here?" And she's just like, "Oh, I just want to make friends." He's like, "What? You don't do that." Like, and she's like, "I already have a boyfriend." Like, how'd you meet your boyfriend?
The app.
It's like, oh my god.
No, this was my favorite episode of the season. For a number of different reasons. One, the most obvious being, I feel like this is just the most accurate depiction of internet dating and like Tinder dates I've ever seen. And I fucking loved the structure and the directorial direction of this episode of, them going back and forth between all the different girls, but they're all set up in like one scene where it'll cut back and forth. It'll be like 5 different girls at one location, 5 different girls at another location. And it's just playing out as one scene.
No, it keeps getting smaller. If you notice, the batch of girls he keeps going out with. As soon as there's a red flag in the conversation, we don't see that girl again. Like
unless they play out for a little bit.
Remember the girl? As soon as she goes to the bathroom,
he's thinking she does coke.
And then she comes back and she's all like cracked out, like she's all coked up. After she has that little coked up, we don't see her again. like
yeah.
I love that.
Well, you saw the other chick a couple times. The one who was like, oh yeah, my parents are really rich, so like, why get a job? And then she just talks about fucking all these people. He's like, oh wow. No, I liked the chick who was on coke because she came back and then she was like, wow, how many siblings do you have? Oh, just one brother. And I also liked the little bit about him just denying drinks, because that happened several times. When one wasn't going really well, because they would always offer another drink or whatever, and he'd be like, no, really, no, let's not do this. It was so fucking clever. It was, again, I think the direction of it was the most impressive part, because I just loved the way it flowed from beginning to end.
That was so awkward when he ran into that guy that the girl recognized, and like they were having like a flirty conversation, and then you didn't see that girl after that. The date was over.
Oh yeah.
That was funny.
You're talking about the guy who was an army, whatever he was.
Whatever, yeah.
He was a war photographer
or something.
That was fucking great, because she sees the guy, he comes up to her on the street, and then he tries to make a little joke. He was like, "Oh yeah, we had fucking Mario. We had Mario Lopez on Clash of the Cupcakes. That was pretty harrowing." After the guy talks about like his friend dying, and then the chick he's with is just like not into it. She's like, "Yeah." I really loved all of the little exchanges. Yeah, that episode was just super entertaining from beginning to end.
Super innovative, more than anything. I thought the way it was done was brilliant.
Yeah, this one was directed by Eric Warheim.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
No, and it made sense because it wasn't. This was the episode that started with the. Was this the episode that had the Jabberwocky people
I think so.
doing their fucking weird dance? No. That was the next episode. The next
Yeah,
episode.
that might have been the next episode.
But he also
dude,
he also
that
directed that.
That black guy was hysterical. The guy who was the producer on his show, who was he was having arguments with. Remember that guy?
Yeah, he was great.
Oh, he was hilarious.
I love that episode where fucking Cedric the Entertainer's on and he like stabs his hand.
Yo, Cedric the Entertainer was great. Like, what the fuck? That was the most out of character I've ever seen Cedric the Entertainer. Like, I love how Cedric the Entertainer was actually playing an entertainer. Like,
he was literally an entertainer.
yeah, that was hysterical to me. That he was like a nerd, like a genuinely neurotic.
But that black guy you were talking about, after he stabs his hand, he wakes up. He's supposed to be supervising the he claps. Yay!
No, I love it when Aziz was just like coming up with ideas, and after he said an idea, like the guy was. I'm Facebook friends with that guy, by the way. I'm like,
okay,
bro, you're fucking hilarious.
Here's a good question. Who is the better black guy who's working on a show that the main character talks to? This black guy or the guy from Love?
Oh.
They're both great.
Oh, I think I gotta go with this guy. I love this guy.
I might give this guy the slight edge because I love the back and forth. Because he thinks he has this. He really sees himself as having this relationship with Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, right? Like, he's just like, yeah, man, we have these ideas. And he's like, what are you talking about, we? It's like, there you go again, being negative. Like, what?
And Aziz is just, like, always bothered by him.
Yeah, right?
But he's super into it. It was great. Yeah, he was the best.
No, but, like, the other guy you're talking, that's Chris Rock's brother.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's actually Chris Rock's brother. That's nuts. Like, he's great on that. By the way, I want to compare Love and Master of None for a second. Love is one of those shows where you watch it, from my perspective, you watch it, and it's so funny, but it's so annoyingly relatable to a point where it's just like, I kind of want to hate the shit out of it. And then characters a certain character keeps making certain decisions where I want to kick the shit out of her. And it ends in the season ends in a way where I'm just like, wow, this is stupid. And you have to make a character named Dustin one of the most unlikable characters on television I've ever seen. Okay. And this show, you watch it and you just laugh and you're relating to it and it doesn't depress you.
Well, they're both super relatable shows. The difference is that Love, it's relatable to an extent that it kind of hurts.
Yes.
Like, you're like, holy shit, this is too...
It's like, stop it.
Yeah, this is too much.
It's like, it's signature Apatow.
Yeah.
That's how he always did shit, like with Knocked Up and everything, and 40-Year-Old Virgin. And he sort of toned it down, made more funnier movies, I thought, like produced movies that were more funnier and lighter. But, he gets too real sometimes with this shit. And it gets, like, to a grating degree where it's like, I want to love Gillian Jacobs on that show, but, like, she's such an asshole, or it's just like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, it's super fucking real. Like, the decisions she makes on that are so real with different women. Like, but you're right. It's fucking rough. Whereas this show, but I also don't want to say that this show sugarcoats anything. It's just like the route that it takes to being relatable is different.
Yes.
I agree. But yeah, they are comparable in a lot of ways, actually.
They are.
Both great. If you haven't seen that show, watch that also.
And they both have two amazing lead actors.
Yeah, damn.
Paul Rust and Aziz Ansari absolutely deserve it.
I think those are my two favorite protagonists in shows right now.
Oh, and I love Pete Holmes too on Crashing.
Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you, I watched an episode of that and it was great.
Oh, you would love that. You would watch that whole thing, and you should watch Vice Principals too. That's a great show, and Danny McBride's amazing on it. And I also love Donald Glover from Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, those would be my 5 for the Emmys.
I still never finished Atlanta. Because it's fucking on. Because I watched the first.
What?
Yeah, I watched the first 5 episodes.
How do you not finish that show?
It's on fucking. The only way to watch it is on fucking FX on demand, and I have
I'm
to.
telling you, Atlanta. The first season of Atlanta is up there being like one of the best seasons of television of all time.
It's definitely one of the best first seasons.
No, yes, but like you have to finish it first, okay? Before you actually have to talk shit, okay? But
I'm not talking shit.
yeah, you're talking bad shit, bro.
What?
Because anybody else would kind of agree with you. Like it's one of the best television seasons.
It fucking sucks.
Ever. It really, it's amazing. Did you ever see the show? Did you ever watch the episode where it's like a fake talk show?
No.
Oh my! You can't say shit. Shut the fuck up, Brandon.
I've seen half of it, alright?
No, I've seen half of it. Yeah. Fuck you.
Fuck up.
Nah.
That
All right.
show
Anyway,
sucks.
Master of None.
Sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so we'll go on from the first 8 episode to episode 5, dinner party. Francesca is coming back into town. This was the episode that starts with the Jabberwockies. I fucking love that bit of like Aziz Ansari just being like, "What the fuck? Like, what is the deal with these fucking Jabberwockies?"
Yeah, right. They can't take their masks off.
And then fucking Brian and Arnold are like obsessed with that randomly.
Right?
They show up at the set.
Why is Brian barely in this season, by the way? Like, Brian was barely in this season.
I was wondering that, and it made when him showed up like even funnier. Like
Yeah,
the fact that he just showed up for that specifically was hysterical.
I love how his dad has an actual subplot in this season, and he has no subplot.
Yeah, well, his thing with his dad was like that was kind of half the plot of an entire episode.
I know it was, but like it wasn't. It had nothing to do with Brian. Like it was just like oh, he's talking to Brian, but like that doesn't really matter. It's just like
I guess they figured that they got a lot of stuff with Brian in the first season.
yeah, right.
And they had so much. I mean, just given what they covered in this season and how
I
great.
don't know. I fucking like that guy though, so I wanted more of him. Like,
I wanted more of him too, but I think there was so much that they wanted to do in this season, and just seeing what they ended up doing, I don't like. What would you have replaced in this season with a Brian plot?
Too much Francesca after a while, where it's just all like that hour-long episode was a little tiring. Like a little.
I fucking love that. Was one of my favorites.
Tiring.
That was one of my favorites.
But no, it was good. It was a really good episode, but like I wouldn't. It was just a little dragged, a little bit. If I had to be completely honest.
If I had to be completely honest, I'd say shut the fuck up.
Well, you don't gotta be absolutely mean to me about it.
All right.
I thought we were like friends.
You thought we were Bergs? You were wrong.
Wait, we're not Bergs,
I will beat the shit out of you,
dude. What? We're not Bergs.
All right, we're Bergs.
yay!
Okay, dinner party. Yeah. I'm trying to think of notable.
Dude, you're forgetting. This is the introduction of Bobby Cannavale, Bergs.
Oh yeah, Yerg.
I fucking love that guy. First of all, Vinyl shouldn't have been canceled. Anyway,
Vinyl's shit.
shut the fuck up, Brandon. That's one of the best pilots ever, okay?
No, it wasn't.
That was a great pilot. Shut the fuck
It
up. You
wasn't
didn't
that
even
good.
watch all of it.
I saw the pilot. The pilot was fucking whatever.
You didn't love Andrew Dice Clay in that?
He was like, oh.
No! What? That's exactly what he wasn't, you moron.
He's like, oh, I'm Andrew Dice Clay, and
No.
I'm like Andrew Dice Clay, and I'm in this show. I was in a Woody Allen movie, so now I'm gonna be in a I'm gonna be in a Martin Scorsese show. Like, shut up.
And now he's gonna be Lady Gaga's dad in the Bradley Cooper movie.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah, you didn't know about that?
Is there a biopic about Bradley Cooper?
No! Bradley Cooper's directing A Star Is Born, and Lady Gaga's in it, and Andrew Dice Clay's playing her
Is
dad.
it a Lady Gaga biopic?
Sure.
All right. Fuck that show.
It's a movie.
No, I'm talking about Vinyl. That show is shit.
Okay.
Oh, I'm Ray Romano, and I had a sitcom called Everybody Loves Raymond, and now people
Romano's
don't...
actually great on that show. I'm not even lying. He's actually really good on that show.
It's like, oh yeah, I like doing drugs.
It's not a perfect show, but it's really good. Like, it's a really good show.
Yeah, whatever.
You only saw one episode. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're beloved pilot of that show.
Such a good pilot.
Yeah, you know who's an even worse pilot is fucking Sully.
All right, I'll give you that one.
Yeah, he's fucking sucks.
And the guy who did the 9/11 flights.
Yeah, he's terrible. Dude, if I was on that plane and someone came into my cockpit and they're like, "Hey, we're terrorists," I'd be like, "Yeah, well, whatever.
I'm still gonna land this plane.
I'm still gonna land the plane." I'd pull some Denzel Washington in flight shit. I would flip it around. I would flip it when they came in the cockpit, so they would... Because if they came in there with guns, I would flip the plane right then, and then they would crash into the top of the plane, and then they'd be knocked unconscious. And their whole plan for terrorism would be blown to shit. They couldn't do anything. They thought they were going to blow up the fucking World Trade Center. It's like, no, you're actually passed out now. And now I'm calling the police on my airplane phone.
Yeah.
Those guys fucking sucked. They're responsible for 9/11.
Yo, dead ass.
Fuck those people. I'm going to find out who they are, and I'm going to call their family members and be like, hey, you know, if someone else was flying that plane, maybe I wouldn't have to spend so much fucking time at airport security now.
Yeah, man.
I don't know how we got to this point, but...
Dude, Aziz Ansari makes us think about terrorism, bro.
With that fucking line in the Big Sick trailer. So, 9/11.
Oh, right? That was the funniest line in the world.
It all connects. It all comes back around.
That was great, bro.
We don't go on pointless deviations. It all ties back in. Episode 5 we just talked about. Is there any other notable thing besides the Jabberwockies, Bobby Cannavale showing up, Francesca comes back in.
John Legend.
Oh yeah, John Legend. There's just like a weirdly great musical performance just thrown into this. I was watching that and he went in to like perform that song, and as he was playing it, I was like, damn, that was good. All right. I wonder if he had that stipulated in his contract. He's like, all right, if you're going to make me perform a song, I'm going to really go crazy with it.
Yeah, unlike La La Land.
Oh.
Ooh, burn.
Burn to that great movie, you piece of shit.
It's a good movie. I don't hate it. I like it. I like it when it's not a musical.
All right. Episode 6, New York, I Love You. This was, I think, my second or third favorite episode of the season. And this is the episode that the main characters of the show are practically not in.
Yeah, it follows a doorman, a deaf girl, and a cab driver. And it's one of the better episodes of the show. It wouldn't be like one of my absolute favorites, but it's definitely one of the best episodes of the show in general because of the pure setup of it, the premise of it. It's so bold and risky, and it's a quintessential episode. You put it in season 2. You develop all these characters that you like, so you trust the audience enough where you just want to just focus the episode on complete strangers, and it still ends up fucking working and just goes with the absolute essence of what the show's going for to begin with. And I think
you really have to think about, we were talking about kind of the Netflix model. I was thinking about, like, if this show wasn't on Netflix, I don't think this would have been an episode in the season. I think they were allowed to do this because people binge watch the show, and you have this episode in here. Like, if this was a show that came on once a week, and you were waiting a week for the next episode of Master of None, and then you saw this episode where the characters you've been following for half a season that you're super invested in are in for less than 30 seconds, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Right?
I mean, I wouldn't, because this episode's incredible, but I think most people would think that. They'd be like, what? Why? But I was wondering, when this started, within the first 2 minutes, I was like, wow, he's really going to do this. He's really going to do this entire episode without him and without these other people. And it was...
Like, it's not better than, like, the Rafi and Dirty Randy episode of The League where, like, Jason Mantzoukas and Seth Rogen, they play two side characters on The League, and they're given their own episode. And it has nothing to do with the actual show for The League. You could actually just watch it on your own as just, like, a regular episode.
I want to watch that. I've never even heard of that.
Oh, you want to watch it? It's fucking fantastic. Yeah, you should watch it sometime. It's, like, one of the best episodes of television. It's just so irreverent humor. It's like, perfect Seth Rogen, Jason Mantzoukas stuff. It's like so great, and it has nothing to do with the show. And you can say the same thing about about this episode of Master of None, but it still goes with the absolute spirit of what that show did. And same with The League.
Yeah. I guess the main difference being this goes even further because these aren't side characters. These are literally fucking strangers. It feels like Master of None is set in New York, and there's always a lot of New York isms, a lot of New York things happening, but it felt like this was the episode where they were writing this and Aziz was writing this and really wanted to do, I don't want to say a Woody Allen movie because the style of it is not Woody Allen-like, but he wanted to do an entire episode that was kind of like a movie about New York, and not in the way that a lot of movies about New York are done. Whether that's just from the type of faces you're seeing. If you look at it just from like what the log line would be on a script, it could seem a little much because the whole thing with the episode is I'm showing you faces in an episode that's all about New York. I'm showing you all these people, all these different faces from people of different walks of life that you would never see in a movie that's about New York. So he's showing you, this deaf girl. He's showing you this cab driver and all of his friends who are stuffed into a one-bedroom apartment, who are, broke. They're saving up money for months to go to a club one night. He's showing you a doorman. So it is interesting because as much as Master of None has a really diverse cast of characters, it's still following, relatively affluent people in their late 20s and early 30s who they have money and they're doing things that require money. And this was kind of a step back, and he gives these characters who are just getting by, they're scraping by. He gives them just as much attention and humanity and comedy as he does for himself and the characters that he's normally writing. And I was super impressed by that. You immediately just like the people that he introduces to you that you've never seen before. Especially the doorman that we were talking about. You immediately like this guy. You immediately like the story that is set up of him being the doorman at this apartment building and having these various interactions with people who live there. It's just really nice, intricate, small-scale world building. And like you said, it makes total sense that it is in the Master of None land. Like the rhythm of the episode, the rhythm of the conversations, it's all Master of None, but it's on these different people.
The characters that we're following, you could all say that they're all Masters of None in their own ways too.
That's what I was saying to you, that like I would watch a spin-off show about the doorman and his pals. I really loved the cab drivers. I loved all those guys. I really liked the deaf girl storyline too. I wouldn't watch a spin-off of that because I don't. Yeah, right. Because I don't want to see an entire series with no sound.
Yeah, with no sound. Are you fucking with me, Brandon? No, we're gonna watch the spin-off. Watch that happen now. Okay.
I mean, I'd still watch it, but I wouldn't be like, yay. I'd be like, all right. All right, I guess. But even that I thought was super clever. I liked the thing with her talking to her boyfriend, who is also deaf. She was like, just lick my vagina. Are you going to lick my vagina or what? Just fucking lick. And then she kept saying it. The one thing I didn't get about that was how there were just kids in that store who like knew sign language.
Yeah, right?
They just were reading her conversation and they knew she was saying vagina. I'm like, okay, those kids were like 5. So those kids are 5 years old. Why do they know sign language and why do they know what vagina is in sign language? That's weird. But
Yeah, right?
everything besides that was great. And the whole episode centers around, like, the tie is this hypothetical, this fake movie Death Castle starring Nicolas Cage and Emma Watson. Which doesn't even sound ridiculous. Like, considering fucking The Circle and what Emma Watson's doing, she would totally make this movie.
No, just the fact that Emma Watson's like in every movie now is just funny.
And the whole idea is that the cab driver who ends up having a plot... at first I thought when they transitioned to him, you think it's going to follow these 2 girls that it cuts to, but then it ends up being about him. And he gets this Death Castle movie spoiled for him. And then Aziz and Arnold and Denise want to go see this Death Castle movie. So the tie is the movie. It was really clever, just from beginning to end. Like I was saying, you just like all the characters. The bit with the doorman and then the husband who is like cheating on his wife. And then his wife finds him and throws all his fucking clothes out the window, and then his friend who works there, one of the other doormen or one of the other apartment employees, goes out and finds a jacket. And I thought it was gonna follow him, but it ended up being about the deaf girl.
Right?
But yeah, this episode, if you just want to peek into the ambition of this season, just look at this. It's nuts that they did this.
Yeah. Episode 7 follows Brian's dad out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And, Brian's dad is getting his fuck on with 2 girls. He likes the cooking of one girl, of one woman, and then he loves the dog.
I love how superficial the reasons are.
Yeah, right? And he's just so straight-faced about it every time. He's great. I like that, Dad.
I love when he's with the second woman, and he's so obsessed with her dog, Coco. And Coco comes in the room and he's like, Coco! Like, you've never seen him act so happy in any of the times he's been in the show.
Yeah,
like,
by the way, why does every dog in anything have to be called Coco now? That's my fucking aunt's dog. Why?
What is the other thing that has been Coco in?
The fucking Pixar movie that's coming out called Coco, and like she's inevitably gonna ask me, "Hey, do you want to go see Coco? It's like it's gonna be about Coco. It's gonna be great."
So the Coco's not the name of the dog,
and then I'm
is
gonna
it?
be like, "No, I don't want to go see Coco with you." And then she's gonna be like, "Oh, you don't love me anymore?"
Wait, Coco is the name of the dog?
Yeah, I've told you this a million times. Yes.
No, you haven't told me this a million times. That would be weird.
I definitely have. I've
That
definitely.
would be really weird if you told me a million times
Or
that.
a million, maybe not, but like I
Even
told you,
5, that would be bizarre.
I've definitely told you more than 5.
No, dude. I've never
Yeah,
heard
I've
you.
said Coco in front of you. I'm like, remember the dog used to live here and he used to bark all the time. You're like, why the fuck are the dogs bark? I was like, that's fucking Coco.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
remember me?
That was a while ago.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, you're telling me I never said this? Like,
Is that dog alive?
sadly.
So his dad is obsessed with this fucking dog. And I loved that. I just loved seeing him be so excited about the dog. It was adorable. And then the other woman, yeah, he just likes the food she cooks. But I loved when he's hanging out with the girl who has Coco, and she's trying to kiss him, and he's just like, she's saying, all right, Coco, you've had enough kisses, and she's trying to get Coco out, but he's like, no, Coco, stay. Coco, stay. He just fucking loves Coco.
Yeah, right?
That was hysterical. And yeah, this is the only other episode with any Brian time this entire season.
Yeah, right? Brian time.
Brian time. That's this Brian spinoff. Brian time. There's Brian time and Raven Live.
It's Raven Live!
Yeah, so that episode was great. And then that episode is also when Aziz goes to his dad's work.
Oh, yeah.
And his dad fucking collects things that he's removed from people's stomachs because he's a doctor. He collects things that he's removed from people's stomachs. And then this guy is in there because he shoved the toothbrush up his ass.
Yeah.
His dad is just so funny. It's kind of ridiculous how funny he is for just being not even an actor at all.
I want to marry his dad.
All right, well, I'm not going to do that. But let's move on to episode 8. Your favorite of the season, maybe my favorite of the season.
Oh, Thanksgiving? Yeah. That's my favorite of the season, for sure. It follows Denise, arguably Aziz's best friend on the show. And,
come on, man. Second best friend.
No, I mean, they're childhood friends. I mean,
okay, yeah. Okay, so we'll say arguably his best friend. As
just in the way how, like, Chris used to argue to me how Lily used to be, Lily was Ned Mosby's best friend on How I Met Your Mother, in that sort of vein. Like how they had that sort of like brother-sister kind of connection. I kind of see that with Dev and Denise and how they develop that throughout the years. They show,
but that's what I would say, is they have more of a brother-sister thing. But his best friend is definitely Arnold.
All right, sure.
It's a different dynamic. Like my cousins Corey and Eli, when we're together, when we hang out, it's like my best friends in the world. But then when they're gone, we don't talk to each other much. It's a different type of connection. There's people who you could just pick up with at a random time, but you don't necessarily have, like, I feel like they have a similar kind of thing. They hang out more, but it's a different, like, I think that's just because I love the dynamic between fucking Aziz and Eric Warheim so much that their whole fucking big and little buddy thing is just the greatest thing ever. But whatever, they're good friends in any case. I love the setup of them showing all the different Thanksgivings throughout time.
Yeah, like they showed like 6 different ones. I loved it.
And they start the first one has fucking them watching D'Angelo's Brown Sugar. Can't hate on that. It's one of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah, little Aziz singing to it. That's great.
I love when her mom came in because she's seeing Denise, who is, of course, ends up being a lesbian, and they're watching D'Angelo Brown Sugar, and she walks in and sees her, just looking at the music video in awe. She's like, "Ooh, look at you looking at D'Angelo," and she's just looking at the women in the music video, like getting near each other.
No, I thought it was perfect when she put on the dress and she was like, "This is bullshit." like
the music, all the music in that episode was perfect. Like all the cues.
Oh my! And then they put "Flavor in Your Ear" remix. Oh my god, that's your one way to win me over, is to put that in your shit. Yeah, fuck yeah.
She has a picture of Jennifer Aniston. All the little things, like them smoking weed. That fucking killed me.
I know that look. You used to give that look to Rachel. I thought you were all those years. I thought you were looking at Joey. Mom, you kidding me? That character was an idiot.
I loved him pulling out the fucking bag of weed.
Oh yeah, what a skimpy looking bag.
Yeah, what a shitty bag of weed with like less than a gram in there. It's like, this shit is dank.
If that, yeah.
And then just seeing them smoking it was just it was the epitome of like teenagers smoking weed for the first time. They're doing it and they're like, not that they, they're spraying the fucking air freshener every puff they take. It was great.
Yeah, right.
And then it gradually goes throughout time. It was like one when they were really young, then they had one when they were teenagers, and then they jump forward to like 2015, and they do 2015, 2016, and 2017. And you just kind of see the progression as Denise is bringing different girls that she's dating over to the house, and you're kind of tracking forward with the relationship between her and her mom, but also with, was it her aunt?
Yes.
Yeah, with her aunt and her grandma, who are all great.
Yes. Angela Bassett's terrific on it.
Yeah, this episode, not only was it super funny, and we haven't even talked about the Aziz shit or fucking nipples and toes. Nipples
Right?
and toes 23.
Yes.
But yeah, this episode, like, when it ended, it, like, made me really emotional. I love this episode. But yeah, Aziz was fucking the best in this episode.
Yeah, right?
Is it nipples and toes?
Yeah, and then how she says it at the same time. So it's nipples and toes.
She doesn't even... She's too dumb to, like,
She
pick
doesn't
up
even
on the
realize
fact.
how he's like putting her in this, and everyone else is like fucking on it. Like,
Yeah, she was dumb. That fucking nipples and toes.
I love how her nipples were so hard under her dress. Dude, you couldn't avoid them. Like, Jesus Christ. Especially when she was doing that, like, that dog impersonation. Like, what?
Yeah, you see her nipples, and I was like, hey, where the toes at, though?
Yeah, right?
Show me the toes. I was trying to look for him when she kicked Aziz off the couch. She was stretching out. I was like, all right, where's the toes? Nipples and toes, Miss Nipples and Toes 23. No toes. Sad day. The episode is fucking great. Yeah, he all of his jokes in that were perfect.
Yeah, I dated a pimp once.
Yeah, the grandma just like was so sweet.
Oh yeah, by the way, I love how Aziz like diverts expectations where like you think like, oh shit, she grew up in an all like female black house where like, oh, like the black people, most of them are known for not like condoning homosexuality, and you would just expect, oh, the grandmother, oh, the oldest one in the house,
the worst.
she would be the worst one. Nope, she's the nicest person in the world. Like she's the nicest person, and like she brings the girlfriend home, and like everyone else is just giving her awkward fist bumps, and like the grandmother just comes in with a hug, and it's like the most adorable thing in the world.
Well, and to bring it back to the religion episode for a second too, he kind of subverts. This isn't even really necessarily subversive, but because part of the whole thing with that, he could have obviously made that episode and done a really over-the-top commentary in light of the stuff that we're experiencing in the country right now. Could have done a super over-the-top commentary about, like, see, not all Muslim people are crazy. Like, that could have been the thing, but he doesn't do that. It's very natural. He shows that, like, that's the idea, but it's not... He doesn't put that in your face at all. He's just like, no, here's my experience with religion, and I'm showing you that. And then in this episode, yeah, that gave it an air of like realness, because it's like, okay, yeah, maybe typically this grandma character would be the worst, but not in this family, not in this show. Like, that's not what we're doing. It made it instantly have a sense of realness that I don't think would have been there if they would have had her also be, super uptight about it. I loved how she just went in right away and just gave her a big hug.
Yeah, right?
And who is it? What's the actress's name? The aunt who plays the aunt?
Kim Whitfield, I think.
She was funny. Like
She was hysterical.
when she was having her back and forths with the mom.
Yeah, right?
Talking about...
All right, I'm just going to do the peas.
Oh yeah, her fucking... The grandma making the potatoes, smoking a cigarette.
Oh yeah, I don't want Newport potatoes. And then the grandmother says it adds flavor. I'm like, what?
Oh my god, but it was so sweet. The end of that episode. Here's another thing I loved about that. As they were going through the years and showing the different meetings, I loved how they showed the reality of a family gathering where they remembered what happened the last time. So they had like little in-jokes. Like later when the girl she ends up being with at the last Thanksgiving comes over, they do a little callback. Like she gives the aunt that weird fist bump she does the first time.
Yeah.
And they do little callbacks to that. And you're like, yeah, that's how it is. When you have these, you remember these things. You remember and you reference things that happened in the past because they're notable events. So everything about that was perfect. And the way it wrapped up, where the mom, finally gives in and starts having kind of a relationship with this girl that her daughter's with, that was just super sweet. And the last shot was perfect. I texted you. I like applauded the fucking end of this episode. Just me sitting watching the TV. I was like, yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Perfect episode.
Perfect. Like that is. I feel like that's an episode. If you were going to a class on like television,
yeah,
you just play that episode and you're like, here's a perfect episode of TV. Watch this.
Yes.
It would be in the class of episodes like fucking Ozymandias from Breaking Bad. Like,
yeah.
Here's a perfect episode of TV, and then you watch fucking Thanksgiving. It was perfect.
Or the Goodbye.
Or what?
Goodbye, Michael from The Office.
Oh yeah, totally. Okay. Anything more on that episode?
You know what's in the damn yams.
Yeah, his fucking. I was wondering if she was gonna yell at him when he was yelling to communicate what was happening to the grandma. By the way, I've been living with my grandma. Like, she just went back to Texas a couple days ago. She's like super hard of hearing now, so it's the same thing. Like, whenever I'm like with me or my dad and we're trying to talk to her, it's like she always is like, what did they say? And I love that moment where she does that, where they're all sitting at the table and then like the mom and the aunt just kind of ignore her because they know that she's not going to hear it anyway. But Aziz just starts yelling it at her. She's like just shouting across the table. That was perfect.
I loved it. Like but it's like he knew he was being annoying.
Yeah.
So it's just like he kept going louder and louder.
He just gave into it.
And even with the nipples and toes, this is like nipples and A-N-D.
Is Melina Matsoukas related to Jason Mantzoukas?
Maybe, I don't know.
She directed that episode.
Yeah, I know she directed a couple episodes.
And this was one of the only episodes that Aziz had a co-writer that wasn't Alan Yang.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, let's go to episode 9. This is the penultimate episode. This is the hour-long episode, which was nuts, because they're all 30 minutes, and then that episode came on. And I don't know, for me, you said it felt dragged out. I was weirded out, because when that episode finished, it felt like it ended in the same amount of time as the 30-minute episodes. I was confused.
No, it was definitely dragged a little bit, that episode, but it was still really good. And
Okay,
Arnold got the DJ.
I didn't think it was dragged at all, because I had no issue with any part of the Francesca storyline. I loved how this episode started. I loved how this was also the only episode where the style of the opening credits was different. It was almost like this was another one where he was doing like a movie, kind of, because it was an entirely different opening. There was no Master of None regular title card or anything. I think this episode had the best cinematography out of all the episodes. This episode made me like her even more than I already had. I loved the opening of Francesca's, because she loves pharmacies for some reason. She's like obsessed with pharmacies having all these different kinds of medicine and fucking diarrhea medicine that is chocolate. And she just buys a giant bag of pharmacy shit. I really liked the development of their relationship in this episode. This episode to me felt probably the most like the first season, because the first season had several episodes, that were just focused on Dev and Rachel, where it's just them for a day or a few days and just following them. This was a lot like that. Because a lot of the episodes are either an entirely separate thing, like the New York I Love You episode, where it's these strangers, or it's Thanksgiving, which is kind of this separate episode developing Denise, and it's going throughout time. This episode was just basically them for the entire episode for like an hour. Still had really funny moments. You mentioned Arnold. He's a fucking DJ, and he's playing sexy beats. That was great. And then also had a great scene, because it's the first time that Dev kind of honestly states what he's feeling to Francesca, but it's kind of, it's stunted a little bit. It's kind of hinted. but they both finally acknowledge what's been going on. I thought it was super well handled. This episode is the winter storm is in this episode, right? Or is that in the actual finale?
What?
The storm where they get stuck in his apartment. That's this episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Okay, that had the craziest fucking sexual tension I've ever seen in anything. I was like, wow, are they what is going on? And then they start making out with a door, and I thought they were going to fuck the door because they couldn't really do it. It was nuts. Because I loved his reaction, too, when she texts him about coming over to his house to watch a movie. His face when he looks at the phone, he's like, whoa, what? All right. And I love, all throughout the season, all of Arnold, like, coaching Dev on what he should do with his relationships. Anytime they meet up and discuss a date or like his game plan to move forward, it was hysterical.
Yeah. It was pretty hysterical.
I love when he was talking to him and he was like, should we switch roles? And he he pretends to be Dev. That was great.
Yeah.
He's just hysterical throughout this entire season.
Yeah, Aziz, Eric, they were like the most unlikely duo to end up working.
Yeah.
For me, it's because I always kind of liked Eric more than Tim, because like I don't really like Tim and Eric.
I fucking hate Tim and Eric, so whatever.
Like I don't mind some of their stuff, but like it's really I've come to the conclusion I just don't like Tim. I really just don't like Tim. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't think he's that funny. I don't really think
his face also bothers me.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I work with a few people that love Tim, like they love that kind of humor, and they love the fake movie review show that Tim does, but I'm just not a huge fan of that guy, and I think Eric is really funny, and I remember he was really most of the reason why I really liked the movie.
I hated the movie.
I liked the movie. I thought Eric Wareheim was really good in that. So I don't know. I just think he's very talented, that guy, and surprisingly has a lot of good range as an actor. He's like a fluffier, more improv-y, eccentric version of Zach Galifianakis, I'd say, because Zach Galifianakis is like unpredictable in that story. I would like to see them as like brothers on this show.
He's sort of like Zach Galifianakis, but he has more of he'll just say something weird. But the way that Aziz will respond to it, it's like he doesn't react to it that way. He just reacts to it like it's just a normal thing.
Especially since Zach Galifianakis, I'm pretty sure he started the whole DiGiorno thing. I'm pretty sure he did. Like he started saying DiGiorno before Eric Wareheim started.
Didn't he do that in The Hangover?
That's what I thought, like, or something like that.
It was in The Hangover. I feel like I remember it.
I'm pretty sure it was from The Hangover.
It was either The Hangover or Due Date.
Or Due Date. It was something like he definitely did it before Eric Wareheim did. That was fucking hysterical. Like, so that's one thing that kind of irks me about Eric Wareheim, is that he always kind of reminds me of Galifianakis when he does that. But he's still great.
Your reaction to him is like his reaction to his doppelganger in this show.
All right, now we have to talk about the other show that Aziz does on this with Bobby Cannavale, which plays the finale of this show.
Best Food Friends.
Yes.
That was fucking great. When he's pitching him, I loved the running bit about Bobby Cannavale, where his reactions to things, it would seem like he was upset, but then he flips it and he's super happy about it. Like the first time when Aziz is saying he doesn't want to do Clash of the Cupcakes for 7 years, and it seems like he's pissed, but then he's like, I fucking love that. You just put your balls on my table. Take your balls off my table.
Yeah.
That was great. And then he did the same shit with Best Food Friends. He pitches him, because he wants to not do... You can tell throughout the season he doesn't give a shit about this Clash of the Cupcakes thing. No. It doesn't play into the show except when they cut to him actually doing it. So he pitches this Best Food Friends show, and Bobby Cannavale looks at him weird. And then finally they do it. I was laughing. I just kept laughing just thinking about best food friends. And then when you saw the fucking like poster for it where they're both meatballs, I lost my shit.
Yeah, right? Or when they put Dev in the sandwich. Like,
and he's like, I don't want to do this.
yeah, right. Or with Bobby Cannavale just eating the sandwich.
Take a
Or
bigger bite. Take a bigger bite.
He's like, how am I supposed to do that? No, Bobby Cannavale was just so great on this because it was so sad too because like he's so nice and so cool and so charismatic where it's like sort of like they kind of pull a Bill Cosby with him where it's just
you
like
could tell. I mean, it was a pretty direct Bill Cosby type situation, especially the conversation he has after. So he finds it out for through that
H. John Benjamin.
And then the other girl who he's talking
Yeah,
to.
yeah, and then he finds out through his former coworker who used to do the makeup for him.
Yeah, that he's done all these various sexual harassment things. And they aren't super specific about it, but basically there's all these allegations against him. But that, when he is talking to Bobby Cannavale about it for that minute and a half that he's talking to him, it was a very clear, like, Bill Cosby thing where, he was saying, they just want to take me down. They just want to take me down. They just want their 15 minutes in the spotlight, which was, the argument made for why would these people lie about Bill Cosby. I feel like it was a pretty direct commentary on that, but at the same time, it was just
they didn't go too much into it where it's just like, all right, what did he really do? It's just like accusations where it's instead of like
revealed on Raven Live.
They never explained that Bobby Cannavale wrote a book that like, oh, he wrote in, oh, this is how you roofie women, because that's a thing Bill Cosby did. Bill Cosby wrote a book with that in there.
Well, even the way, I feel like it's going to be, if they do continue it, it'll be something that continues forward, because even the way that Aziz was reacting to him freaking out about it, it didn't seem like he was responding like, oh, this guy's the worst person in the world I'm in front of right now. He was super confused about it and wasn't sure about it. And even like the stories they told about what he did, it wasn't fucking rape. He was like harassing women because he was in a position of power to harass them.
And you could sort of tell that like he was sort of like heartbroken that he kind of wanted, like he wants to be his friend, but he doesn't want people to perceive that he is his friend because he does these terrible things.
That was great. Okay, so we're going to talk about Raven Live.
Of course we are.
Sing the song.
Because it is Raven Live.
But that was so great. After Aziz has kind of found out about it, and he's on the show, and they're talking about the show, and they're talking about their relationship, and he keeps, because he knows about these allegations before it comes out publicly. And they're talking about them being best friends. And he's like, well, we're co-workers. There's a line. You
gotta, you said something really fucking funny. He's just like, there's boundaries and you gotta respect those.
And Bobby Cannavale's just like, yeah.
So Bobby Cannavale's looking at him the whole time like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he comes up to him at the commercial break. He's like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Oh my God. Okay, so when they find it out, I don't.
Oh, can we talk about this for a second? Because this is the only part of of this season where I was like, it's fucking hysterical, but at the same time, I kind of have to call it bullshit because this would never happen in real life.
That's why it was the best.
Like that would never happen though.
But the joke of that is that it's fucking Raven Live.
I know. Well, yeah, but like at the same time, the rest of the show is so brilliantly realistic and brilliantly true to life. When that happens,
this to me was the most
it's a little sensationalized, but like it's still funny as fuck. But like, all right,
this maybe
tell them what happened. She during the commercial break, they're talking, Bobby Cannavale and Aziz, and then Raven's talking to her producer. And what is her producer telling her, Brandon?
She's telling him about all the allegations.
Yeah, and then what does Raven decide to do right after that?
So she decides to out him publicly. This was the most, you're talking about its similarity to Curb Your Enthusiasm. This was the most Larry David moment.
It was like a mishmash of like Seinfeld, Louis, Curb Your Enthusiasm, all in one. It was just,
oh my! So she decides she's gonna reveal on the air about all these allegations.
Which, by the way, I'm thinking about it right now. She would have been sued, like with just cause,
Oh my
by just
God.
doing that.
So when she brings it up, and Bobby Cannavale's like, "What? Like, what are you talking about? I'm here to make this these cakes or
she
whatever."
can't
the
do
fuck.
that. She would have been sued in a heartbeat. Now that I'm
The
thinking.
thing that kicked off me just dying was when she was like, "We talk about the real issues on the show." It's like as she's fucking cooking and it's fucking Raven live with the theme song. She's like, "You think we're not going to talk about the real issues here?" And she starts, and then they cut to Aziz after he's outed or whatever, and he makes the air of saying, "Whatever happened, I absolutely condone his actions." And
Yeah, but the way he says it is so believable. Like, you know he's nervous, and like it's such brilliant acting by Aziz. Like, you know how vulnerable he's being in that situation.
And they cut to the audience and they're like,
like he's trying to be completely respectful to her too. Like he's trying to be completely respectful of the situation without offending anybody. And like Raven is just egging him on and being very obnoxious about it. And it's great. It's the funniest Raven's been since That's So Raven. But
and
whatever.
he has a perfect reaction where he's like, no, I misspoke. I misspoke. He's so scared.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, I started laughing so fucking
Yeah, he's
hard.
like, condoning means you approve. I didn't mean that. No, I'm nervous, okay?
When the caption comes up on the screen.
Oh, yeah, that's another. The shows like that don't have that.
Where it quotes him at the. It reminded me of The Interview when they were showing this shit with Eminem. Right after he says it, then at the bottom it quotes him. He's like, "I absolutely condone his actions."
Hector's rectum was real,
and they credit him. They credit him as his BFF, and they put it in quotes.
Right?
That was fucking hysterical. And
I know, but like at the same time, I love how serious she was taking that title. Like, well, he's your best. Well, first of all, it's a play on words. It's best food friends. All right,
Yeah.
like. Can't be my best friend, okay?
And they keep that going throughout the rest of the episode, where he's like walking around and he'll pass the posters, and there was like a vandalized poster of the BFF poster, and they're just all happy and they're best friends or whatever.
Yeah,
that was fucking great. And then when he says to Raven, when he's like, "I know you can't see into the future," and then the crowd is like, and she's like, "I know you didn't fucking bring up."
No, she got legitimately offended. I don't think she was even acting. Like, I thought she got like legitimately offended and like started like. I thought she was gonna fight Aziz for a second. Like, she's like, "Don't you dare bring that up."
I can't remember the last time I laughed so hard at that scene. Like, I was physically hurting laughing so hard.
Right.
It was fucking perfect.
That and the fucking nipples and toes 23.
Yeah, nipples and toes. Well, this season had several of those moments where they hit a joke really hard and they knew it was great. And so they kept it going. They kept the bit going forward and it kept being funny.
Yes.
I love that shit. When they know they have some gold and they stick to it. So you have that. That was incredible. And then, of course, you have the wrap-up with Francesca and Dev, which is kind of mixed. It's kind of all over the place. They both know their feelings at this point. He takes her on that helicopter tour of New York, and that's where they start having their conversation. And I knew that was going to happen, where the guy flying the helicopter was going to come in and be like, "You know, I could hear everything you were saying, right?"
Yeah.
But I still laughed.
Yeah, right.
So the ending of the season was like super. It was like The Graduate. It was like literally The fucking Graduate.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great cut to credits. A great last little bit. So she makes the decision, I guess, that she's going to be with him, but we don't know that for sure. She basically they have the last moment with her and her fiance, and then it cuts to them in bed. You don't really know the situation. They don't look like particularly happy. They both kind of look like, what is happening? It was weird.
Yeah, really weird.
But I loved it. And I think it was the perfect note to end this season on. It was just, Yeah, I really want them to make another fucking season of this show. Like, I don't want it to end after this.
Probably not going to happen. Like,
But yeah, okay, but at the same time, if it doesn't continue... Oh, we forgot to mention the moment with Rachel at the end of this.
oh yeah, I like that they brought her back.
So she showed... I really liked that she just shows up and it's totally believable because she's just with people. They have a kind of awkward interaction. And it's very brief, and he moves on because he's in another thing, and she's in another thing. And it's crazy to think about because, yeah, I haven't rewatched the first season in a long time. So it's going to be interesting because I am going to go back and rewatch it soon. Coming off of this, probably fucking tomorrow or something. Because she was such a big part of the first season. Like, she was the first season. They were the first season.
Yeah.
And the fact that their moment was so small and it wasn't a big thing. Like, them meeting didn't change the path of the episode. The only thing that kind of did was he meets with Arnold after that.
Yeah.
And he kind of reveals that he has that line where he says, I don't know if this is even about her, about Francesca. It's about, I miss this feeling of being so close to someone. And I was kind of thinking about the last shot of this. And I was thinking about, is that last moment where he's with her in the bed, is he thinking somewhere like, I just really wanted this feeling of being close to someone again. And now that I have it, is this girl, is Francesca, is she really the person? Or am I just in this because I really liked being close to someone again?
It's some real deep shit like that Aziz Ansari wants you to keep your eyes open at night.
No, for real, dude. Like, I was thinking about that shit because, I mean, not to go too deep into personal shit, but I've definitely been there. And I feel that, like, you know, when you come out of something that was what him and Rachel had, and it clearly took a toll on him to the point where he has to go to fucking Italy, that he's searching so much for this thing when as soon as he gets a hint of having this deep connection to someone that he can spend a lot of time with, it's like he chases after that. And when you kind of reflect on the season and you reflect on the moments they had together, they have good chemistry, they're both likable, they have fun times together, but the more I think about it, like what he had with Rachel was even more. Like, it was more than with Francesca. And I wonder if they did a third season, I think that it would probably pick up more so than what season 2 did, where it went in a whole new direction. I think if they did a season 3, it would be more of a balance where they would have to reckon with Rachel and with her. Yeah, I thought it was brilliantly handled, and it did. It made me think about that. It leaves a lot open. Like, that last shot, it left me almost kind of breathless. It's like, wow, like, what is going on? And while I have all these questions, at the same time, I think that could be a fitting ending for this show. If he was going to end it, because there are questions, but it also is kind of a wrap-up. It's just brilliant. This whole fucking season was outstanding. The comedy was totally on point. All the relationship stuff was super well handled. The concept episodes were brilliant. I love this. It far exceeded my expectations. I'm sure I'll watch it again soon. I imagine, like, when I go through the first season again, I'm probably just gonna watch season 2 again also.
Right? It's a crazy show, man. It's a great introspective little show. I love it. I love you, Aziz.
Aziz, Randy. Ching chong bing bong, where's my keys?
I didn't really shoot any puppies. You're just being stupid.
What the fuck? He's so goddamn talented. He's like an incredible stand-up comedian. Just has now one of the best shows ever. The fuck? Great in every movie he's in. When will he fuck up? Will he fuck up?
Yeah, 30 minutes or less. Yeah. Funny in that.
Anything else? Anything else on Master of None Season 2?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to do it for us. Master of None Season 2. It's on Netflix now. Check it out. Follow this page. Follow Film Fatigue. Hear more from me and Dustyrrrrrrrrs, and also from Adam.
Yeah.
We got some shit coming along, so keep stay tuned. Stay tuned. And yeah, fuck off. It had an incredible central relationship that was developed between Aziz Ansari's character and Noel Wells' character. Absolutely hilarious. Had really clever ideas for how to tell these individual little stories that are still overall tied into the main show. This season just took it further in every direction. There was more crazy ideas. Like there's an entire episode where the main characters of the show are featured in it for less than 30 seconds. It's nuts, and it's even funnier than the first season. This is, as of right now, I just recently rewatched season 3 through 5 of Breaking Bad, and I would have said before that season 5 of Breaking Bad was probably my favorite season of TV, just isolated as a season. And this is in competition with that, if not surpassing it. Like this, I was glued to this show. We were just talking about how could you just watch an episode of this show and not continue it?
Yeah, man. I was watching it. I live on the East Coast, and like Netflix, when they drop new shit, it comes online at 3 a.m. and I have insomnia, so that's no problem for me. So I watched the whole thing like in the morning. And it was there were so many times where I was like, I finished an episode. I was like, am I gonna go to sleep? No, I'm not gonna go to sleep because it's fucking Aziz Ansari, and it's the best. It's great. It's just amazing. And oh my god, it's like it's one of the. It got better technically. Like the direction got better, the editing got better, the soundtrack. They got a bigger budget for the soundtrack.
The cinematography in this season was insane.
Right.
And it just kept getting better. Like, near the end of the season, some of the scenes, I was blown away by.
The guest stars, too. The guest stars got even better.
Oh, my God. Okay. Let's freak out a little bit before we delve into this, because I'm just still in shock at how good this was. I couldn't have imagined a better follow-up to the first season. And what's so crazy about it is one of the strongest aspects of the first season, like I mentioned, was this relationship that was developed between Aziz and Noel Wells' character. Her name was Rachel. And you just really began to care about seeing them together, and they had an incredible chemistry. And of course, that season ended. Full spoilers, obviously, for everything in this show. You need to catch the fuck up on it if you haven't. Watch it all in one sitting, because that's what you're going to end up doing anyway.
Yeah, I went through this show like teenage girls went through 13 Reasons Why, and
or like you went through fucking all those kids you were babysitting. Am I right?
No, I was not. Stop that. All right. Okay, that's way over the line.
He's lying.
13 Reasons Why. I watched that show too. It was good. But dude,
all right.
Master of None. You forgot to mention like Aziz. If it wasn't for Aziz, bro.
He wrote, and it's Aziz Ansari and Alan Yang who write and direct every single episode of this.
Yes.
Well, they don't direct every single episode, but they write every single episode.
Yeah, and his brother too, his younger brother writes. Yeah. Aziz's younger brother. But like, if it wasn't for Aziz, we wouldn't have the monikers Brandy and Duster.
Randy, and then just. It's so natural that Brandy comes off of that. I was talking to you before we started recording. Bicycle Thieves is a movie that I love. I have the movie. I've seen it a bunch of times. And the little references they do to that movie in this, they're clever. And it just more so feels like a framing for the episode. It's not annoying. They're not like cringy references that you're like, all right, I get it. You don't need to have seen that movie at all to give a shit about, you know, the stylistic choices they make here. Because even without the homage element, it just looks beautiful. Like right when the show starts, there's a step up, and the first season was really well shot and directed as well. But as soon as this season starts, it's on another level, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I love the idea of like the callback of the Italian films and shit. I haven't watched any. The only one I watched was fucking Life is Beautiful. Fuck Roberto Benigni. I hate that guy. Anyway,
you don't like Pinocchio, bro?
No. No. Fuck you. No, that's terrible, that movie. Anyway, I love the first episode of this because he especially because most of the episode revolves around him trying to find his phone with this little kid, and the little kid was cracking me up this whole time because he was just he's so it's like such like a theatrical performance this little kid's giving. Like he's just like, oh no, your Italian is so terrible, it's just so bad, why are you so and then almost every reply that he has to Aziz is just like, I'm a kid, I don't do this, I don't go on vacation,
that was great, that recurring
I don't go out to drink, like
I don't have vacations,
right? I'm a little kid.
I love that bit where he's, you know, he wants to call his phone to find it, and then the kid's like, I'm a kid, I don't have a phone. He's like, why can't you be like American kids? They're smart.
Yeah, right?
I
was just gonna say that. That was fucking great.
That start of the episode, just to get you right back into the flow of the comedy, was perfect too, with this fucking alarm clock that goes off, and then he just throws it out the window because it won't shut up. It just got me right back into it, because the alarm clock, he's throws it out the window because he's fucking with the bed sheets, and it flies out the window, and he's just like, fuck!
Yeah, he's like, my Italian's not very good, but I'm sorry.
How do you say my alarm clock is fucked? That was perfect. It was perfect.
And the guy's like, fuck you.
And what's really neat is, you know, they establish the girl Francesca, who is kind of the love interest of this season, in the first episode right away, because she's was she the daughter of the grandma who's running the pasta place?
Yes.
Yeah. So it all starts up in just a very nice, easy way. Yeah, his thing with the kid is great. You basically just get to see him in his element of what he was going for at the end of the last season. I'm going to go to Italy. I'm going to make pasta. And that's what he's doing. And he's having a good time. He has some Italian friends. There's her husband, or her, not her husband yet, her boyfriend, fucking Pino, asshole.
Pino Grigio.
Yeah. Wine. All right. Some other guy.
Italian. All right, that's the one mildly racist thing Aziz did at the show. Whoever wrote that character, it's like, oh, what are we gonna call the boyfriend? Oh, Pino, I like wine. Okay, all right.
They probably were like, you know what? He's an asshole. We'll call him Pino. Why not?
He was. It's not like he really was an asshole either.
He's not an asshole in the way of like he was a dick. He was an asshole in terms of like he's just an asshole. He's obsessed with fucking tiles.
That's his love. That's his living.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. He should die for that.
I don't know if he should die. Jesus, maybe not be with the girl,
killed.
but like maybe don't wish him death. I don't know.
I think he should be killed.
Jesus,
that's another
I recognize that actor too. Like, who was that actor?
Same. I couldn't figure that out.
Like he I know it wasn't him, but he looked like the guy from ER, like Goran Vishnevsky.
No. He's been a side character, like a low level side character in a few movies. I feel.
Yeah, like. I've seen that guy before. It's like it bugs me whenever
recognizable face.
Yeah, whenever I see a recognizable face and I can't pinpoint it, like no, but yeah, he was. I liked him a lot, like as that character. But like, I liked Francesca. And, yeah, it was just a good episode. It really set the tone well for the season. For one thing I gotta say first to preface it, it's a lot more Curb Your Enthusiasm and Seinfeld kind of this season. Like, I got that vibe from it, like, in a good way, not in a copycat way. Like, it still has its own style. It has its own Master of None tone. It has its own style.
There is a similar situational comedy that happens where, you know, something ridiculous happens and you're kind of watching the fallout of it.
Yes.
But yeah, it definitely has its own unique tone. The only thing that they really do to carry over the Rachel relationship from the first season is in the first episode, she texts him on his birthday and he's going back and forth about whether or not to reply to her. That's really all they do. And then there's a little bit more of that in the second episode, but from there until, like episode 10, until the end of the show, it's really a non-factor. It's really not that much of a part of the show.
And I'm glad. But
yeah, it's really it's really interesting because conventional logic of writing a TV show would not lead you down that path. Because you had a good thing that you set up, and it had a really interesting cliffhanger ending. So the natural thing to do would be like, all right, let's pick that up. But they didn't do that. That's what I was really trying to get at the beginning of us recording this, was that I just thought it was a really great idea. And I honestly wasn't expecting them to fully do that. I kind of thought it would be more directly tied, but I really liked the new directions that it went in.
It went in a whole different style. Like it found its tone that it wanted to find from the first season, where it was kind of a little over the place, where it was just like, oh, we're gonna have a little silliness here and like really dramatic moments here, and it still felt real, but it didn't feel completely full of realness yet.
Well, it didn't feel fully fleshed out because even though it was great, I can't talk that up enough. It sounds like we're saying, you know, they improved on things that they didn't have right in the first season. The only reason that we're talking about it through that lens is because it's just ridiculous how great this season is.
Yeah.
And how the level that they took this to. Because the thing that I think maybe was just slightly off in the first season, and again, I still feel bad saying that, but you had a lot of the comedy, and then it would be followed by
sull'eco del concerto che insieme ci trovò, ripeterò ancor la strada che mi porta a te. Ovunque sei, dove sarai, mi rivedrai vicino a te.
shut that thing off. Whatever the fuck that was.
That's just my watch, bro.
Can't have fucking watches in this conversation.
What?
This
But I wear...
You wear a watch?
Yeah, it's my...
What is this, fucking 2006?
Can I show you it?
No. Okay, for the people listening to this, he's wearing a fucking stupid watch. You're just showing it to me. It's retarded. It's green. I get it.
No, it's not. It's fucking gold.
It has a green screen.
Yeah, but it's gold.
All right, it's Braaaaaaaandy and Dustyrrrrrrrs. And
Dustyrrrrrrrs!
We're back in here. This is not technically Film Fatigue, but it's an offshoot. Dustin's been on Film Fatigue, and we have done several podcasts in the past. We did Life of Pablo. We did some other shit. But we're here now to talk about Season 2 of Master of None. We were already...
You're the mother of my second child. What the fuck are you talking? We're so close. You have no idea.
Yeah, we're Bergs of the highest order.
We're not here to talk about Master of None, Brandon. We're here to talk about the fucking 6-year anniversary of The Sitter, starring Jonah Hill.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great comedy. I saw it the first time I babysat. The day it came out, it was a great history lesson on telling me, hey, this is how you not babysit, bro. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to talk about this either. But
Did you fuck those kids, bro?
I didn't fuck the kids I babysat for. How was I going to fuck 3 kids in one night?
You could have fucked them all.
Dude, why are you talking about pedophilia?
Just for anyone listening to this, we already recorded the first 5 minutes of the podcast again, and Dustin was telling me that we are gonna have to talk about the sitter again because that's how we opened it before. So we just literally redid all the bits of the first intro, including Dustin fucking kids. I didn't include the part that he fucked a 12-year-old, but
You're an asshole. I didn't do any of that. Why are you trying to paint a terrible picture of me, bro?
I've heard
we're talking
reports
about Master of None. Master of None, I'm a huge fan of it. I love Aziz Ansari. I've been a huge fan of him since 2009, ever since the Randy days.
Yeah.
And Observe and Report. And, like, what do you mean I blow up Chick-fil-A? I fucking love Chick-fil-A. It's fucking delicious. Like I've loved all that shit from Aziz Ansari. He's still, like, one of my top 5 favorite comedians of all time. And, dude, Master of None, season 1 was so great. And season 2, it's even fucking better, bro.
Yeah. What? So I just finished watching season 2 all the way through in one sitting. This show had so much to live up to because the first season was so great. Natural that does dare comes off of that.
Yeah.
It's all natural. It's all natural. Just like how Dustin fucked those kids, just raw.
Dude, I didn't, bro. Stop making me be like Chef Jeff.
That's what I was trying to get to, but
we can't just jump right into just Chef Jeff right now. Right?
He's a pervert.
All right. All right. By the way, spoilers.
Spoilers, Berg.
Spoilers, Berg. Why?
I don't know. Okay. No, so what I was saying about that, though, is it's crazy that they put so much into developing that central relationship. Yes. And then this season, because, they end the first season where she breaks up with him, she's going to move to Tokyo to discover herself, and he's going to go to Italy to discover himself, and it kind of ends on that note. He's talking to the lady on the plane. This season, we kick right off in Italy, but the trajectory that this show is on is not, okay, how do we get back to this relationship we were setting up? They totally naturally follow through with the storyline of Aziz Ansari's character discovering himself. And it's not in a cheesy way. It's not like he goes to Italy and it's like all these dumb little things that they try to do. No, they genuinely care about moving the story forward in a way that is natural. Like, we were talking about, this entire season feels so real. Like, all the things that people talk about, all the things that he decides to do, they all just feel real. And even the plot elements that come in, they don't feel ridiculous, or they don't feel like something that, is put in the show to bring them back to the relationship or whatever. Like, it's all a new thing. You could honestly watch season 2 of this show and just see like a recap of the first season. Not that I would recommend doing that, because the first season is fucking great. But you could
No. Watch the first season first.
I'm not recommending it. I'm saying from the perspective of talking about this season, it really does feel like a new thing.
Sure.
I mean, I was just kind of blown away by the fact that even referencing the last relationship, the last season, there's very little of it. Even when, what's Eric Warheim's character's name again? Arnold?
Yes.
Even when Arnold comes to visit Aziz Ansari in Italy for the first time, they don't play show recap when he gets there to talk about his problems.
No, there's plenty of like little callbacks throughout like almost each episode from like the last season, though. There's little Easter eggs that they call back to, if you notice.
Easter eggs, but not like, oh, okay, I get what you're doing. You're trying to set up this narrative, and it all feels supernatural. That's my main point.
Genuine. No. It's organic how they do it, and it's not in your face. That's what I like about it. If they did it the other way, it wouldn't have worked at all. But yeah, it's like Aziz is like a little Indian Woody Allen over here. Yeah.
I'm just having a hard... Okay, let's just jump into the first episode and go forward, because I'm having a hard time talking about the show overall, because I'm still high on this season and I'm freaking out about it. So let's jump into the first episode, this black and white bicycle thieves homage sort of episode, but